All right, let's dive into something wild. We're going to explore a conflict so fundamental it actually shapes reality itself. This is the abyssal dialectic, a cosmic war where the very act of saying, I exist, just fuels the fire of your own destruction. Let's get into it. And right here, this quote, this is the key to the whole thing. It's the central mind-bending paradox we're dealing with. Every time something tries to create, to assert itself, it automatically makes the force that wants to destroy it even stronger. It's a cosmic catch-22, and it's the engine driving everything we're about to discuss.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on this cosmic struggle. Then we'll meet the four major players, the Titans, locked in this war. We'll see the nightmare world they've created, and then we'll look at two new wildcards that could just shatter the whole system and rewrite the rules of the game.
Okay, let's start at the beginning, this perpetual cosmic struggle. And I mean, this isn't just some war, it's the very foundation of this reality. It's the engine that makes everything tick. So, the abyssal dialectic, what is it? Think of it as a war over existence itself. And it all gets kicked off by one being making the ultimate declaration, I am. But this creative act doesn't lead to paradise. Oh no. It triggers an immediate, equal, and opposite reaction, which creates this state of hydronihilism, a constant draining battle against a watery void that wants to swallow everything.
So who exactly is fighting in this endless war? Well, it's time to meet the four Abyssal Titans. These are the beings whose very nature keeps this whole conflict running.
First up, we've got Glaucus. He's the absolute I. He is the big yes to existence itself. He's the ultimate architect, a being of pure light and logic who genuinely believes he can and should impose a perfect, crystal-clear order on the entire universe. He's the one who starts the whole party. And of course, for every yes, there has to be a no. Meet the Mephistophelian shadow. It's the perfect opposite. If Glaucus builds, the shadow tears it all down. It uses something called necrotic flux, basically the power of pure unmaking, to dissolve all of that beautiful, perfect structure right back into the nothingness of the cosmic void. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't a simple two-way street. Enter the captain from the abyss. This guy, he couldn't care less about order or chaos. He's a parasite. He literally feeds on the raw energy, this stuff called palingenios, that gets released every single time Glaucus and the Shadow go at it. He's the war profiteer of this cosmic conflict. And last but not least, we have the grim umpire of this whole mess, the Sea Stormer, the sovereign guardian. He's not picking sides. His job is just to enforce the rules of the game. He governs using the unchangeable laws of the dead, which are literally written or encoded into his domain, the underworld ocean.
So this table really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? You've got the creator versus the destroyer. Then you have the parasite who feeds on their conflict and the guardian who enforces the grim reality of it all. Each one has a specific job, and together they've created this perfectly balanced and utterly inescapable cycle of conflict. So what kind of world does a four-way eternal conflict actually create? Well, it's called the Nightmare of Atlantis, and it is the inescapable reality that these titans have forged. Now, this twofold Atlantis, it's not so much a place as it is a state of being. Just imagine, any moment of beauty, any act of creation is immediately being hunted by two things: the absolute nothingness of the shadow and the life-draining decay from the captain. That's the triadic nightmare. It's a reality where everything is constantly on the verge of being erased. For ages, this was just how it was, a perfect, terrible, never-ending stalemate. But that is all about to change. It's time to talk about the emerald-scaled interloper, a brand new force that is threatening to break everything. And you really have to let that sink in. The system was a closed loop, a perfect, self-sustaining nightmare. There was no way out. But its very perfection is what makes the arrival of something truly new so absolutely world-shattering. So what makes this new Leviathan so different? Well, the old guard, they fight with abstract concepts, right? Logic versus anti-logic, creation versus decay. This interloper brings something totally new to the table. Raw, direct physical force, and this shimmering light that seems to work on a completely different wavelength, potentially bypassing the old rules entirely. But what if this raw physical power is just the tip of the iceberg? What if the true disruption comes from a new kind of consciousness? And this is where we get to speculate a bit about a hypothetical new player, the unwritten divine feminine. Let's just ask the question straight up. What if this new physical force, this Leviathan, is just the vessel? What if the real catalyst for change is the intelligent host it decides to bond with? That would introduce a completely new kind of energy into this hyper-masculine struggle of the absolute I. Okay, full disclosure, we have to be really clear about this. The source material is very explicit here. The character Salome does not appear in the primary records of this reality, but using the laws the universe has already given us, we can run a pretty fascinating thought experiment and figure out what kind of chaos a figure like her could cause. Her impact would start with magic itself. Right now, the whole system runs on underworld runes. It's a liquid-based magic controlled by the Sea Stormer that encodes the laws of the dead. This new magic would be its total opposite, heavenly runes, a wind-based system built on celestial logic. This is a direct challenge to the source code of reality itself. You can see how this all starts to snowball. A new power, a new consciousness, a new kind of magic. This isn't just a minor adjustment. This is about fundamentally rewriting the laws of reality. So, a new logos wielder, someone who can literally speak the language of creation, would just cause a massive ripple effect. Just by existing, she's challenging Glaucus's whole claim to be the one and only creator. She's creating a celestial mirror to the Sea Stormer's power. We're not talking about a simple power struggle anymore. This is a battle for the very alphabet of reality. But, and this is the huge but, this brings us right back to that core paradox. This slide lays out the trap perfectly. The second a new divine order shows up, a fundamental law of the universe kicks in. The void has to respond. And the end result? The Mephistophelian shadow, the great no, just gets stronger. Every act of creation still feeds its own destruction. And that really drives home the tragedy of the twofold Atlantis. This quote just captures it so perfectly. The entire world, the underworld ocean itself, is just this massive repository of trapped potential, of souls waiting for a chance to break this cycle, maybe just like this new host is trying to do. So this is what it all boils down to. A new power has arrived, offering the first real hope of breaking this eternal deadlock. But if every single act of creation just makes the void stronger, we're left with the ultimate question. Can a new song actually change the tide? Or is the abyss, by its very nature, just destined to swallow all light in the end?